Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to my channel if you're new. Welcome back if you're not. This is going to be the first of the login and register series. So within this video, we're going to be focusing on the markup for the login form. And I'm going to start off here within Visual Studio Code. So basically, once we're done with all of the markup and everything, we're going to be moving all the files over to Spring Boot, which is an IDE that's pretty much similar to Eclipse. Now, the reason I'm starting off here within VS Code is simply because I have all kinds of plugins and extensions and stuff installed here, and which make development much easier and faster. So now within my project folder, I already created a folder called resources, and this is going to contain my CSS, images, and JS files. Now within the CSS folder, I already have Bootstrap set up and installed here, if and also along with Font Awesome. Now, Font Awesome is just going to give us the ability to create icons and all of that. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you know where to get Bootstrap, but and on Font Awesome. But just in case there's those of you who do not know, I'll leave a link in the description below as to where you can download these files. Now, I also created a main.css here. This is going to be the main CSS file for my own custom styling. So that's basically it for the project structure as a whole. Now, the first thing I need to do now is create a login form or a login page. By the way, do not mind anything. Do not mind the HTML.html access there. Once we move over to Spring, we will be converting these files for into JSP files. This is only just what you call it, the markup stage. Now, by the way, I also have an extension here called Emmet. Now, with Emmet, I have access to certain shortcuts that allow me to create HTML elements. So if you see me just clicking on things and all of a sudden there's a div or a certain element, that is due to Emmet. Now, the first thing I want to do is link all of the CSS files to this particular page. So okay, and then I'm going to change the title as well to login. Now, before we go any further within this page, I want to first set up the default styling for the body. Now, I'm just going to give it a padding of 0 and a margin of 0 along with a height of 100 viewport heights. So margin is going to be 0px padding, and then the height. Okay, now the other thing is, if you remember in the demonstration, the login, the register, along with the error and success pages, they all had the same background. Now I already have it um, copied over into this images folder here. So now the background doesn't really matter too much. It doesn't factor into the application itself. I just didn't want to create a login and register system or a basic login and register system with just basic HTML markup. So I also wanted it to look nice. So I did do this particular background with Adobe XD, and so I created the background and then saved it as a PNG. You can use whichever background you want to use, but I'm just going to stick with the one that I created. So in the body itself, I'm going to say Then I'm going to make the position center, center. The size is going to be cover, and then there I'm going to set it to background no repeat. Now before we continue, let's just see how it actually looks at the current moment. Okay, so that's our background there. So now, as for the login form, I'm going to contain that within a Bootstrap card. So now, just so we keep track of everything, every class that I'm going to use from here on is going to be a Bootstrap class, and then any custom styling that I'm going to need to add to whatever element, I will be using my own custom ID, so that we just don't confuse the two. So I'm going to first start off by creating the card. And then within here, I'm going to create a card body. Now, okay, so that's going to be the structure for the card. Now, the other thing that I wanted to say, so since I'm going to be containing the form within the Bootstrap card itself, I'm also going to position it to the center of the page. So if you were to look at currently where the card is positioned, it's at the top there. And then the other thing is that I'm going to make it span about 3 columns. So I'm going to be setting the class to call SM 3 columns. And then within the body, I'm going to have to set up the display to flex, align items, center, and then justify the content, center. So if we check it now, it's in the middle of the page. So now the elements that I'm going to add now within this card are going to be the title along with the form elements themselves. And I'm going to use Bootstrap classes to just position and center them. So the card title is going to be so if we check it now, that's our card title. So now I just want to move it to the center of the card itself. So here I will add text, and then we have it. By the way, I also need to add a bit of padding there, which is going to be Y2. So now underneath here, I'm going to add now the first input field, which is going to be the username. So I'm going to contain that within a another Bootstrap class called form group. So the label is going to be username, and then the input field is going to be username as well. So I'm gonna give it a class of form control, and then the placeholder is gonna be all right. Let's just see how it looks currently. All right, so that's our input field for username. Now let's just do the password field. So I'm gonna copy this the username field because it's gonna be pretty much the same. Change that to password, change the tab to also password, and then also change that to password. By the way, apologies for that. I forgot to actually name the fields as well. So the name of the username field is going to be username, and then the password field is obviously going to be password. All right, so if you check it now, there's our input field. So now here I'm going to add the forgot username or password field along with the login button, and then I want them within the same alignment, just for structure and all of that. So what I'll do here is create a row, and then within here I'm going to create two form groups. I'm just going to copy that there, and then I'm just going to remove both of these, and then copy this again. Okay, so here is the second one is where we're going to set up our login button, and I'm also going to give it a bootstrap class or classes, which is going to be btn, btn, sm, btn, warning. And then since I want these two to be aligned with each other, I'm going to have to also add another class called for column. All right, and then for the card text, I'm going to say forgot. So since these are going to be links, I'm just going to give them a different color, and then I'm going to use a bootstrap class for that, which is going to be text primary, then another one here. All right, so let's just check them now and see how they look. Okay, so there we have it. So now the one other thing I want to do is change the sizing of this along with the login button. I want it to span all the way up to here. So for that, I'm going to need to give them an ID. So this is going to be the forgot text. And then for the button, this is going to be the submit btn. So now within our CSS file, I'm going to have to give them some styling there. So the forgot text is going to be a size of about 10 pixels. And then for the submit button, this is going to be about 100% width. So if you check them now, there you go. So now the other thing is that I want this text to be aligned with the button itself. So on the role class, I'm going to give this an ID of submit btn wrap. And then within here, I'll give this element a display flex, and then also align the items center. And then that should align the two items together. I mean, align the items with each other. Now, the last thing I want to do is I want to add the don't have an account register link here within below the login button and the forgot username and password. So for that, what I need to do is underneath the row here, I'm going to add another form group. So here I'll add another card text, and then I'll say and I'll say just going to give that a class of text primary. Okay, so we will add the link to the register page once we start working on the markup for the register form. So for now, let's just keep it as it is. Oh, by the way, I actually forgot to put this within a form group. Okay, now let's check it out. Okay, so there you have it. Now the two last things I want to do is I want to give this card a box shadow, and then I want to change the background color of these forms. I mean of these input fields. So for that, what I'll do is I'll add a class here. I mean an ID here, saying form wrap, and then within the CSS class, I mean the CSS file, I'll say form wrap, and then box shadow will be 1 pixel, bottom 1 pixel, and then 3 pixel. Then I'm going to give it a dark blue color. So that's our box shadow over there. Now let's change the input field background color. So since this is going to be, so let me see. All right, so I'm going to take that class at the form control, and then within here, and I'll say background color will be, I'm going to give it a dark or a light gray color. So for that, what I'll do is, you know, just push it up almost all the way to the corner there. And there you have it. So basically that's the markup for our login field. I mean our login form. Um, apologies for the video being this long, and apologies if I was fast. I was really aiming for like about 15 minutes there, but obviously the inexperience and the amateurism actually kicked in there. But within the next video, we're going to be looking into the registration form. Hopefully that one won't take long, because whatever the same implementation we use there, we're going to use it there. So again, guys, I really appreciate those of you who've been following and watching. Please don't forget to like and share and subscribe. And I will see you guys within the next video. Cheers for now.